This is meteorologist Mark Molnar. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. Got a lot to talk about. Yeah, we're still dealing with hurricane season here. Invest96L in the north central Atlantic. We're going to go over all the particulars in that, where that's headed, and how big this storm could be. Also, we're going to be taking a look at wintry weather. Wintry weather, some chances of some light to potentially maybe moderate in some of the higher elevations of the northeast. A couple chances coming up mid-weekend and into next week as well. We're going to take a look at the long-range pattern as well and see how much cold air and below average temperatures. I am trying to put the finishing touches on my winter weather outlook for 2022 as well, so watch out for that coming out shortly. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button so you're alerted when I come out with one of these videos. Question or comment down below. I love to see your questions or comments. Also smash the like button, gets the video more exposure. And timestamps down below in the description if you wish to skip ahead. I will not be offended. Let's get right on into it. All right, taking a look at the tropics here. There's that Invest96L, well northeast of Bermuda, and heading away from North American continent. Going to be mainly a problem to shipping as it strengthens and combines with a low-pressure system that will be forming off the southeast Canadian coastline here. We'll also be watching another area of low pressure that will probably spin off the cold front that's leading off of that Invest96 by the time it reaches well north of the Azores. And we could have some sort of development kind of pinwheel down across the eastern Azores and then try to pinwheel back up and around here early next week. So we'll watch. That's why I have that area in the yellow zone. Across the rest of the tropics, really looking quiet at the moment. Right, taking a look at the tropical Gulf of Mexico, not very tropical. Going to be cold air kind of move in. Lots of wind shear in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Clear as a bell across the southern Gulf of Mexico. Don't really see anything developing down here in the Caribbean either a lot of wind shear. And we'll take a look at the rest of the Atlantic. Here it is. Intertropical convergence zone really staying active out here, and that's why I think we'll still see some Cape Verde systems recurving to the north here. There's that Invest96L, well northeast of Bermuda, moving away. Very big circulation. We'll see if that develops into any named storm or some subtropical storm. All right, let's quickly take a look at the tropics. We can take a look at North America as well while we're looking at the tropics. You can see there is Invest96L. Wow, another very strong low pressure system just northeast. This is the Euro, thanks to tropicaltidbits.com. And we put this into motion into your Thursday. You see that system really pushing up here, kind of like a double barrel low here with that. Let's do that again. That's interesting. And then kind of congealing into one big massive low pressure system here. Look at that, that's 976, even maybe lower there in the center. And then you've got this big drawn out area of upper level low here in the east. We'll have to watch that for weak coastal systems pinwheeling around it, especially through this weekend and next week. And then we pinwheel this into, look at that, Saturday. There's some sort of development trying to kick in. All this vorticity. There's a lot. Look at that big blocking high out here. Pretty much at this point, Invest96L, whatever's left of it, is kicked out. And look at this up here. And of course, along the East Coast, we have all of these systems, weaker systems, so to speak, but the chances it brings, higher chances of snow at this point. Trough really kicking in across the east. We have something else out here in the Atlantic we may have to watch. So tropical season, hurricane season just doesn't want to go away. And of course, we get into, look at this. This is a big cold front next Thursday, November 18th. So we're kind of getting out to a margin of error here. Let's see if we have anything brewing on the GFS quick here. Let's go right into it. There is Invest96L. Let's put this into motion for your Thursday. Really kicking in here. There's that secondary low. It's kind of showing up. It's the time frame on the GFS is a little bit higher resolution. So we have more time slots to work with, but there it is. It's probably going to combine forces with this low pressure system. There's that next system across central North America really kicking in. It's going to be the big pattern change here across the east, blocking high off the coast, and there is what's happening with Invest96. Whether it becomes a named storm, a subtropical storm, remains to be seen, but whatever it's going to become is going to be major here. It's going to cause a lot of issues up here, especially the shipping. And then we have that cold front really dragging here on Friday here across the eastern part of the United States. We're in a very amplified weather pattern, so anything's possible with any of these systems spinning up. Could become potentially strong. And then of course we get into next week. Pattern remains very troughy here in the east. Maybe something trying to form out here in the tropics. And look at that, high pressure really starting to build in. It almost looks like a Bermuda high in the summertime. So things really are in total change mode here. Another front moving through. There it is, Friday, early Friday, November 19th. We put that into motion, and things really get cranking here off the U.S. East Coast. Some come Sunday, November 21st. I've seen a lot of blips come and go around this time frame, so we'll probably have to watch for the pattern really starting to accelerate in activity along the U.S. East Coast. Then we get into, here we go, the CMC model. There's Invest96, another secondary low forming along it to combine the forces. Look at that. That really shows it quite nicely there. By, late Thursday, early Friday, there's that big strong cold front across the east, going to bring some real cold air to the southeast here. And then we bring that in. Look at all that vorticity across the east. This is just very unsettled weather pattern. It's going to open up the Great Lakes for lake effect snow as well. And we get these pinwheeled low pressure systems. There was that first one Saturday night across the northeast, potential elevation snow event. There's another tropical system that could be forming by next week, next Monday. And look at that. We put that into motion, and another front pushing here across the east. All right, let's take a look at the upper air pattern for the entire North American continent. We'll take a look at anomalies concerning the heights. This will kind of show us what the pattern, the generalized pattern will be, which areas will see the most troughiness and storminess and potentially cold air for winter storms. Let's start off with the GFS, of course, here. We're starting off Thursday with that above average here on Veterans Day. Trough in the central part of the United States, and then another ridge developing out west here. But look at this big trough out here in the Gulf of Alaska. We'll put this into motion here, and that trough strengthens here across the central part of North America. Now we got a lot of ridging going on up here into Canada. That's aside the point. The ridge is moving off the U.S. East Coast, and there's Invest96L, whatever happening with that system by this time on Friday. But look at this. The trough really takes shape here across the eastern part of the United States. Big trough big ridge kicking out west here. This is what you want to see for some East Coast spin-ups here, some coastal low-pressure systems. And we're seeing that this weekend, the potential for some weak, they're not going to be strong, but some weak coastal systems. And this pattern holds tough. Look at this. Monday, we have this very, very big anomaly of lower heights in nature here. And then we got, and this is what you want to see in the east for snowstorms, because look at out west. We see big ridge kicking in out west here, and that's pushing the trough down further in the east. Now that does start to lift out by Tuesday. Look at that, November 16th. We put this into motion, and then a bigger trough starts to reinforce across most of the North American continent. So we get into stormy weather, and then it really transfers back east here. And we'll be watching the on Sunday, November 21st timeframe, because we've had a lot of blips show up here in the long-range models with something trying to form off the U.S. East Coast. And look at that blocking up here. If something were to form, it really wouldn't have any place to go, and it would really drag the system out. Let's take a look at the CMC model. You can see this starting off just like the GFS. Veterans Day, Thursday, you see all this ridginess here across the northeast, keeping things well above average, 15 to 20 degrees above average. But you see that trough really kicking in here across the central part of the United States and ridging out west here. But there's that big troughiness out here in the Gulf of Alaska. Here it is. CMC really kicking in the trough here, even stronger than the GFS for your midpoint of the weekend here. We kick this into motion. Most of early next week, we stay troughiness, even a little tad longer here, according to the CMC. And big trough really kicking in out west. That should translate to a ridge developing midpoint of next week. So we probably have another roller coaster ride of temperatures here, but look at that. CMC is not really agreeing with the GFS, really kicking some strong ridging here back east. And how does that bode for any snowstorms? So the GFS is really kicking winter in by next weekend, November 20th, and the CMC's kicking in some well above average temperatures. We'll have to see how that plays out here. All right, let's take a look at the models here. It's a little early to get into the mesoscale models like the NAM 3 kilometer and whatnot, but let's get into the generalized global models here. This is Friday morning, kicking in the rain across Binghamton, Philadelphia, anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch early. Kick it off the coast by Saturday. Next trough kicks in, low pressure system forming right around Philadelphia, Camden, New Jersey. And look at this, snow breaking out, moderate at times here. See some of these darker blues are on Jamestown, Warren, Bradford, Altoona, St. Mary's. These areas across West Virginia, higher elevations especially, could see upwards of 1, 2, maybe 3 inches above 1,500 feet here. So look at all this rain here forming on the northwest side. We'll have to see how much cold air can entrain into this, because look at this. By Sunday, this is Saturday night. This is after sunset. Low gets cranking here, 996 millibars near Concord, New Hampshire. If this verifies, look at this dark blue here in the Adirondacks and the northern Catskills, northern Delaware County, up towards part of Saranac Lake, Herkimer County. We could be seeing snowfall totals on the order of 3, 4, maybe 5-inch plus amounts here. So we'll have to watch, see if this low pressure system verifies on the GFS. As it heads to the northeast, we could see some snow across parts of the northern White Mountains, Berkshires, northern Vermont, New Hampshire here. We'll see anywhere in this area, especially above 1,400 feet, has the potential to see a couple slushy inches. Lake effect continuing all the way through Sunday here off the lakes, and the next trough kicks in with some lake enhancement, keeps the low pressure up in here across parts of Lake Ontario. Never really fully develops it here off the coast. We'll see if this verifies. Does have some generalized snow up here again in Adirondacks, Catskills, and then remaining. Look at that. Snow belt areas continuing off Lakes Erie here and Ontario. Let's get into the CMC model. Very similar. We kick it off towards Saturday. Next low pressure system, trough riding in. And if you notice here on the CMC, the low gets cranking a bit further east than the GFS. That keeps the heaviest snow away from parts of the Adirondacks and Catskills and keeps mostly rain here into New England. We kick the low pressure off towards Nova Scotia by early Sunday morning, with only a chance of snow here into northern New Hampshire and Maine, and then the Adirondacks and off of Lake Erie here with some lake effect. So we get into Sunday. This is where things get interesting on the CMC. Generalized light snow breaking out across parts of Ohio, Indiana, and parts of western Pennsylvania. That solidifies there on into sunset on Monday. But that slowly weakens as we get secondary low pressure development way up here, though. So a little bit too far to the north and east to get any development here across the mid-Atlantic. And the lake effect continues to stream. Here you can see on early Tuesday morning. Euro, let's see what the positioning showing on the low pressure systems. There's the low on Monday. Nothing really coastal here on the Euro. All right, let's take a look at the snowfall, total snowfall map briefly. On the GFS, we put this into motion into Friday, into Saturday. There it is, some of the inland snow showing up here and across parts of the Midwest as well. Look at that kicking in. And if we total that up all the way through next week, well, we're starting to look a little bit more like winter here into parts of the Northeast. Let's take a look at specifically the Northeast itself. There it is. If we kick it across the weekend, there's what all that lake effect and some of those coastal systems could add up to. If you see some of these snowbelt areas like around Bradford and Warren, Pennsylvania, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches. And here in the Adirondacks, we could see anywhere from, there's that 3, 5, maybe 6 inches in some of these locations, Berkshires, White Mountains as well. So we'll watch this. This is really interesting. Anything on the Canadian as well. It's showing a very, wow, it's really showing a lot of lake effect snow on the order of, look at that, foot of snow potentially there in just southwest of Buffalo, between Erie and Buffalo, Pennsylvania, right around just inland from Dunkirk there. So, and right around 5 inches in Warren and Bradford. I think this is a little bit overdone because, you know, we're still coming out of some warmer temperatures, but definitely the probabilities there. And look at that, upwards of 5 inches there in parts of the Tug Hill and the Adirondacks with some of these coastal systems that try to form. And upwards of the hills around Binghamton could see upwards of 1 to maybe 2 inches here of slushy accumulation. All right, let's take a look at total accumulated precipitation here on the GFS. Look at this. There's that system spreading eastward. We get a generalized 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch here across New York, Pennsylvania, parts of New England. Also across the south, anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 an inch. Some of the heaviest rain staying offshore. And look at this out west. See anywhere from 3.5 upwards of 5 inches of rain. Some of this in the Cascades could be on the order of 2 to 4 feet of snow. Look at that. And then we get into next week, and a lot of moisture. We'll have to see how with these coastal systems, but if that if the GFS does verify, we could have a band of snow in the western Catskills and Adirondacks, and that could amount the total liquid equivalent up to 2 inches in some of these areas as some of these coastal systems take hold. So very interesting precipitation pattern here. Take a look at this. South Hills Park, Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. Derek Rensler. Thank you for sending these in. This was back on November 1st. Look at the fall color here. Look at that beautiful blue sky as a backdrop. Fall foliage has been really colorful this time of year, especially across the Northeast. We've had some good conditions for it, and look at all that nice blue skies to backdrop it. Nice captures there, Derek. And taking a look at your upper air pattern here, especially across the eastern part of the United States, we have that trough really kicking in here, creating some inclement weather and the potential for some of those coastal systems or weak coastal systems to develop. A lot more cooler air to work with, some lake effect and lake enhancement, snow showers potentially mixing with rain showers at times. We have the trough kind of kicking out of the west and pushing a lot of the systems right into the Pacific Northwest, so we'll get stormy out there as well. Cooler, especially in the southeast. And here you are for your Thursday. Look at this across the Northeast. Not too bad. I mean, things could be a lot worse for this time of year. And we're looking about 10 to 15, as much as 18 or 19 degrees above average here. Look at that, especially where that warm front's setting up across western Pennsylvania. Look at that, 66 in Erie, 67 in Pittsburgh, 63 in Harrisburg, even 58 in Binghamton, and all the way up into New England where high pressure is in control. In Maine, 48 in Bangor, and 50 in Portland, 56 in Boston. Beautiful 61 in New York City. Get out, enjoy Central Park. This time of year, really beautiful. And also, those rain showers in the west there, those will be after sunset, so no worries. And here we go for your Thursday across the southeast with that front on the move from the Mississippi River Valley, moving east very quickly. So by the time we get to the afternoon, early evening hours, the heaviest activity will be from Atlanta up to Raleigh, Norfolk, and this medium green section, anywhere from a quarter to half an inch locally, higher amounts to an inch in some of those heavier gully washers. Most of the dynamics will be over to the north and to the east. There's only a 20 to 30% chance, like Houston, New Orleans, Birmingham, Nashville, Panama City. A little bit greater of a chance here in South Florida around Miami, where it's a little more tropical. We have a little bit more instability to work with. But at this point in the lighter green, only a tenth to a quarter of an inch with locally higher amounts possible. Temperatures will be on the rise, 81 in Houston, 72 in Birmingham, 82 in Tampa in the warm spot, 84 in Miami. So get out there and enjoy. And your TGIF, this is the day of the week that everybody waits for, that 4 or 5 p.m., whatever time you get out of work. The cold front will be on the move, so reality will be smacking you right back in the face. Places like Pittsburgh, Erie, Buffalo. Even then, your early high will be indicated here if you're behind the front. Ahead of the front, you're well into the 60s. Places like Albany, Scranton, Harrisburg, New York City, Boston, Concord. Look at this, well into the 60s in many of these areas, near 70 in Atlantic City and D.C. as well, 66 in New York. Rain will be the heaviest probably during the midday hours from the I-81 corridor on eastward in New York and Pennsylvania. And then darker green zones, Albany, Concord, Boston, Portland, and Bangor. You will be in this zone, quarter to a half an inch likely, especially early to mid-afternoon hours. So there you have it. And it'll be clearing behind the front. You'll be breaking out some sunshine in places like Buffalo, Erie, Pittsburgh, and State College. Turning windier and cooler throughout the day. And here we go, Friday across the southeast. Cold front continuing to push through here, and temperatures will be on the drop. 65 in Atlanta, 64 in Birmingham, 73 in Panama City, a chance of a shower in South Florida as well, and Norfolk, 71, 83 in Miami. But yeah, temperatures will be cooler. Look at that, 59 in Nashville. So the rule here is cooler, fall-like temperatures, and wait till I show you the weekend for the southeast. It gets even cooler than this. All right, take a look at your Saturday across the northeast. We have another reinforcing shot of cold air with the second cold front. Behind it, there is a trough of low pressure over the central Great Lakes off the screen here west of Lake Erie. That is the low pressure system we'll be watching for secondary development near or along the coastline Saturday night, which could help promote some accumulating snows here in parts of the higher elevations of the northeast. But for during the day on Saturday and heading on into sunset Saturday, the heaviest snow will probably be most likely inland across off of about 30 to 40 miles inland between Erie and Buffalo, New York, inland on those higher elevations, especially above 1,100 feet. and in that darker blue section there. So you'll see probably in the order of maybe 1 to 2 inches of slushy accumulation there, and accumulations will spread eastward throughout the evening and night, Saturday night, and we'll have to see. The low pressure does not, the models, of course, as I showed you, did not blow the low pressure up very significantly, but there is a chance of some accumulating snows an inch or less eastward to the Poconos, Catskills, the White Mountains, and Berkshires Saturday night. And here we go, Saturday across the southeast, we have dual cold fronts. The one across South Florida pushing through, leaving Miami the real warm spot at 84, because look at the rest of the southeast. We compare 84 in Miami to 47 in Nashville. Look at that. 54 in Atlanta behind the second cold front, 51 in Birmingham, 58 in Raleigh, even 63 in New Orleans, 65 in Panama City and Charleston. So we are on the decline here. It will be feeling really cool here for people in the south. And here we go for your Sunday across the northeast. We will be continuing with what's left over from that weak low pressure system that will be riding up just inland or near the coastline, and we will have some inland scattered rain and snow showers possible that will be ending throughout the day. So temperatures will continue to be very cool, actually averaging a little bit below average here for this time of year. 42 in Binghamton, 39 in Pittsburgh, look at that, 50 in Boston. So we'll probably have maybe up to an inch, especially above elevations at 1,200 feet in the northeast. Lake effect, lake enhancement kicking off Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, especially Lake Erie, inland of Erie and Buffalo, Erie County, Crawford County, Bradford County, Warren County, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and Allegheny counties here, so watch out for that. And here we go, Sunday across the southeast. It's really cool here. 78 in Miami, look at that. We drop below 80 for the first time since I've been doing these maps for quite a while this year. 68 in Tampa, 62 in Panama City, 67 in New Orleans. We're warming up slightly here in Atlanta, 56, 58 in Birmingham, 54 in Nashville. We got some instability going on up here in the Appalachians and just east of the Mississippi River Valley. That's what that upper level low across the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes. You can even see some blue on the map up there across West Virginia. That's in the higher elevation snowfall, but you won't have to worry about that here in the southeast just yet. The warm spot is at Houston, 79 with that return flow ahead of the cold front in north central Texas, but it will be a dry front. And taking a look for my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Scranton, upper Susquehanna region of upstate New York into northeast Pennsylvania, and all points in between along the upper Susquehanna River Basin. Look at this, Thursday through Monday. We start off Thursday. It's clouds rolling in, Veterans Day here, 58, a low of 28, a cold start, but a nice warm finish here. 57 on Friday, cold front moving through up to a quarter to a half an inch. Most of that falling earlier in the day, and after that, the cold front moves through, clears things out a bit. Saturday, some scattered rain showers as the next trough and front moves in with some lake enhancements. Sunday, we have that potential for some snowflakes, especially in the morning before 8 or 9 a.m., above 1,200 feet, up to a slushy inches possible across the twin tiers of New York and Pennsylvania. And then Monday, we get into the possibility of that another coastal low pressure system trying to develop. So we could have less than an inch of snowfall, and especially some of those areas above 1,200 feet. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. Don't forget to give my Facebook pages some love, Media Mark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, and also Twitter at Weather Eastern. And don't forget to visit me at MediaMark.com and WeatherNortheastern.com.